Hi everyone, καλησπέρα.
Hello, everyone. So, Stelios, shall we do a little bit of an introduction, even though I thought some people knows who you are, who I am, and you can start if you want.
Yes, of course, and I'm really and I want really to know the places the attendees come from.
Yeah, they can
So
write it in the chat. Yeah, they can
you
write
can
it in the
write in the
chat.
chat where do you operate your business, where are you located in. So it will be very nice to learn also more about our audience today.
Yeah.
So let me start with a small introduction. As I said, my name is Stelios Christakis. I'm one of the co-founders and CEO of Tourmie. Tourmie is a guest experience application. We are operating in several EU countries and in North America. We have more than 4,000 properties all around the world using our application. Last year, approximately 500,000 visitors used our guest application. So what we are doing is enhancing guest experience, digital guest experience, which is a very important part of guest stay. So improving digital guest experience, you improve overall guest experience at the end of the day. And this is very important if you wish to gain returning visitors, but also to offer five-star stays, as the
As
title
the
of
discussion
our
today.
today's discussion. Yes.
Yeah. And thanks, Stelios. And actually, thank you very much for having me in the webinar. This has been a long coming. We've been talking Avantio and Tourmie for a few years. We're very happy that we started this connection and collaboration with you guys. As for me, I see a lot of people, from Athens and from many parts of Greece in the chat, and someone from Spain as well. But as you probably might tell, my name is not Italian. I'm Greek, but I am Italian. So I always present myself as I'm the Italian guy with a Greek name. And I've been collaborating with Avantio now for 12 years. So when this industry was booming, I would say, and Avantio, what we do, we essentially collaborate with professional property managers, right? So we offer them what is the complete tool, right, in order to manage basically all of the aspects of their business, from booking reservations to like owner contracts and communication to ADE, for example, for the electronic invoices, and et cetera, right? So we work internationally for the past 15 years. The company is actually 25 years old, and started back in Spain, or here in Spain, but now I think we've reached 36 countries now, and we work with more than 1,500 property managers around the world. So yeah, that's pretty much the gist of Avantio. Very happy today to talk about the whole guest journey, and the how the experience of the guest can be enhanced with the help of, well, with the help of technology, right? I mean, both Tourmie and Avantio are tech companies. So yeah, I think we could start with sharing, right?
Yes, and of course, as you said, Oreste, we have many participants from all over Greece, but also from Europe. This is nice because most property managers across Europe pretty much faces the same challenges, especially
Yeah.
nowadays with all the wars in Europe and in Middle East. It's important to show resilience, and it's important that every property manager can adapt through these tough times. And the best way to do that is to offer or deliver the best guest experience you can. So
Yeah.
I can start presenting, sharing our presentation. Okay, now I think you can check my screen.
Perfect.
Okay,
Yes, we
perfect.
can, we can.
So, as I said, today's host must do more than ever. And this is very true because nowadays, with high labor costs, for example, or you cannot find the proper labor force or proper associates, property managers pretty much do everything. Some smaller property managers even do cleaning. So it's important to have back in our minds that you have to use the proper tools. And this comes along with what guests can expect and what hosts can need. Is something, Oreste, that you can agree with this?
Yes, I would say, before back like long time ago, a vacation rental or an apartment was initially became like the cheaper option than hotel, right? That's how I would say the vacation rental industry started. But
Mm.
over the past 15 years, actually the standards of the guest has increased, right? So they now looking for quality services, even though they are not going to a hotel, right? They are looking for quality service. So they're not booking a property manager, sorry, a property because of cost, but they are booking because of comfort, right? And that's how their, needs, as their needs grow, right? The responsibility of the host and the property manager grew as well, you know?
And we saw in the last few years we see that personalization is also on the rise. We see that most guests want personalized experiences, not only experiences, a simple experience only during their stay. They want also to feel pretty much like locals, which is not easy every time. And that's why also hosts need smart automations in order to answer the needs, the new needs of their guests. And what I believe it's important when you are using technology in order to try and offer those personalized experiences or a smooth arrival, for example, is that all the systems you are working with, the so-called tech stack, must
Hmm.
be connected and integrated, as Tourmie and Avantio does. And this
Yeah,
is
because
also the whole idea behind our webinar here.
Yeah, exactly. Because we are going to talk about the customer journey today, and Stelios, the customer journey doesn't start, like from when they check in and they use Tourmie, right? For
Yes.
their check-in experience and their stay. It actually starts back when they start thinking like, I'm going to this location, right? And I want to make a reservation. So that's where technology offer them a smooth way to make a reservation. This reservation has to go into, hopefully, into a software that it needs to be managed, and that reservation also has to be going to any other third-party system that they're using, like Termi. Yeah.
So, what is the guest journey? What do we mean with guest journey? We tried to break down all the stages of the guest journey. Pretty much, it's three simple stages:
Three
pre-stay,
major, yeah.
in-stay, and post-stay. Those are the three stages, and I think they are all important. But every stage is an opportunity also to improve guest satisfaction, save time, and why not also generate additional revenue from upselling extra services.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
And I think that the guest journey, one of the most significant parts of the guest journey is the pre-stay. it's something that I believe that 50% of the experience is introduced before the guest check-in. And this is also something that most property managers don't pay so much attention. Can you, Oreste,
It's
share your feedback?
Yeah, actually, I believe it's not just before the check-in. When I think of a pre-stay, I'm thinking of, the the reservation process too, right? So when they have, I've checked a study long time ago when they were studying psychology of the guests, right? When they are looking for a property on a portal or maybe potentially on your direct website, what they are doing, something is happening inside of them. They are imagining themselves into that place. So that's why we believe at Avantio that you have to offer a good experience when they are booking as well, like a clear booking process where they can see the property well, they can see all of the characteristics, they can maybe make a tour of the property. We have like on our website you can do 3D tours as well, and most importantly, be clear and transparent of where they're booking, okay? Because then their experience is starting over there. And the last thing I would say, it has to be an easy process of reservation, right? We always say a three-step booking system, right? It's a search, choose, and book, right? And that's super important because in the generally 70% of the guests that gets to the last point of the reservation, right? They don't book because they have to check with their wife, they have to check the flights and everything like that. So you need to be able to offer this type of service like that, okay?
Yes, and what to expect with no surprises. So this is also very significant because many property managers they are trying and changing, for example, prices before the guest books, and this is not a healthy habit, let's say. So it's important that the guest knows what to expect from you and what you advertise on your website must be the same that the guest will buy at the end, will see at the end of when they book their stay. But sometimes I believe that there is some uncertainty after, for example, the guest book a place. Most of the times they will receive a welcome message like this, a very large welcome message with many information in it.
Yeah.
And many of the guests will have some questions because they don't know. So how do you address that problem? And this is the cause that breaks the experience. Uh, in that case, this is what we want to introduce in our audience today, but also our what we are saying is that use technology in order to digitally welcome your guest, but with a simple and clear welcome message. Simplicity plays a vital role for your guests. It's the first image your guest will get from you from your welcome message. So be prepared to have a clear message with not so many information, but be precise and have all the information you need in order to to offer a better experience to your guests. And this is
Yeah.
how Tourmie and Avantio integration helps. Because after the reservation is confirmed, Avantio pushes all the data into Tourmie, and Tourmie can send through Avantio or through our system an automated message with a digital with a unique link, and this link can redirect to a digital guest guide, which is very important because inside the guest guide you can have everything your guest ask you. For example, where can I find the property? Where can I park? How the hot water works? So pretty much all the frequently asked questions your guests have. Um, During stay, Oreste, what do you believe are the most significant challenges?
I think it depends how long is the stay and at what point of the stay we're talking about. Okay, because the first day of the stay, the guest wants to be alone. Most of the time, they want to, relax. Maybe they had a long trip. They want to maybe enjoy the properties and so on. I think when they need most help, it would be mid-stay, right? Like a 2 days or 3 days after, where they find themselves in, I don't know, in Corfu, and they want to ask, the local person that they book the property with, right, the property manager, hey, what restaurant I want, you recommend me, or can I rent a car, or can I, can you help me with renting a boat or something like that, right? So that's when a digital guide like yours, guys, comes in handy, because not only they can see all of this information, right? But they can also, as you're showing now here, right, purchase an upsell, like we say, right, directly from the app. Yeah,
But also, so guests need the local experiences and local suggestions. It's something that most of the guests will ask. But what we are seeing is that Gen Z is not asking as frequent as millennials or boomers were asking, for example, the hotel front desk. They will search everything online. And that is and that's why it's very important also to offer your suggestions online and not only have not only having a leaflet on the kitchen table. You have to suggest local places, local experiences, or offer upsells, for example, extra cleaning digitally. Because now your guests, if they won't find your services online, they will search for somewhere else. And for example, using someone who uses Tourmie, they can earn a small commission from each service sale. They can find local partners through our marketplace, or you can add your existing partners. So this is very important, because at the end of the day, you can have some upsells through auxiliary services, but also you can have upsells from in-stay services like extra cleaning or extra bed linens. Okay, let's move forward to the last step. I think post-stay, as I state here, is the forgotten state. Do you agree with that
yeah,
statement?
yeah. Some probably mention things like, not some, like, fortunately is getting better, but they think that, like, once the guest is gone, that's it. As they say in Spanish, hasta luego, and then we get the new guest in and we repeat, repeat, repeat. But um, even we in Avantio, we use technology. We tell our customer to use technology to remember that a guest can be a repeated guest, or can have a friend be a new guest, right? So you should never forget about guests that have been not even just checked out, right? Even that has been last year into your property. Like the post check, the post stay can be even 2 years. It's not necessarily means after to get reviews and so on. You know what I mean?
And that's important, that if you ignore this stage of guest journey, is something that you will not see any reviews from your
Exactly.
guests, or you
Exactly.
you will not have loyal guests, and this will also lead to less direct bookings, and you will
Exactly.
be OTA dependent, and this is something that most property managers don't value a lot.
No, and on top of that, what is the point of taking care of the guest that is already checked out? And you can see this from the portal, right? Like Booking or Airbnb or VRBO. If you haven't booked any property on those portal, they can't stress you enough to leave a review, right? They tell you like, hey, leave a review, leave a review, leave a review. Why? Because first of all, a review can increase obviously the chances of getting more reservation, right? But then property managers should be doing the same with their own website. They shouldn't be waiting the guest to leave a review just on the portal. They should be rewarding a guest to leave a review on their direct website, right? Because then that will help as well their booking engine or their website to receive more reservation. Because we've noticed now, because we do website, right? Like as you know, that
As this one here with
yeah,
one of our
exactly, yeah,
mutual clients on a
exactly.
travel.
In Crete, yeah. We've noticed that a lot of guests now are looking for properties using AI, right? So they're using ChatGPT, Claude, and they're asking like, "Hey, can you show me some companies that have properties in this location?" Right? So AI, when it's searching for things online, it's also considering, first of all, if they have a booking system. Second of all, price. Normally, it's cheaper. And third of all, AI is checking as well what are the best reviews or best reviewed properties online. So you need to have reviews on your website as well if you want to appear in, ChatGPT response. I always say, right?
And not only, and also on Google Maps, also this
Yeah,
plays a vital role
yeah.
here.
Google has been doing it for a while now, yeah. And then there is also Google Vacation Rental, which is, it's nothing more than a direct link to your website, but you need to have a website with good reviews to appear to be present. That's like a restaurant that don't have reviews, right? Have you ever gone to eat in a restaurant that don't have reviews? I've never done it.
Before proceeding to how we can design the post stay, can we stay a bit longer on regarding direct bookings? I
Sure.
think it's one let's say of the debates of this and the past year. In
Mm.
every conference. I'm going to. I, I listen very intensely the debate between do you want direct bookings or you want to be OTA dependent. This is
So
a debate that
so
is
it's
outside. Yes.
it's a two school of thoughts, right? I've met many property managers that they say, I don't want the hassle and the problems of dealing with direct reservation. But then on the other side, it's also, I mean, if you make them understand the economics behind, okay, uh, I think everyone just like opens their eyes, right? Because we all love the portal, we all love Airbnb and Booking and so on. And they do an amazing job because they take your property and they put it in front of thousands or maybe million of people, right? Because they spend so much money in marketing and SEO and so on, right? Uh, but it also costs 15 to 18% commission. And the job of a property manager, maybe if you are a host, you are okay with it if you have one property, but if you are a property manager, it's already a margin job that you do, right? Because you charge the owner a 25 or 30% commission, right? And then you still have to pay technology with that and so on. So you should be thinking, everyone should have a strategy for a direct booking reservation for economic reasons. And then as well, it's not so difficult like it used to be before, because there was a study from booking.com that shows that about almost 80% of the users that are looking at properties on Booking and Airbnb, right? If they have the age between, I think it was 25 to 50, okay, so it's a big range, right? The first thing they do is that they find a property and they copy the name of that property and they paste it on Google Vacation Rental now, or Google, or
Or
now even on
Google.
ChatGPT, and they try to find a direct source of reservation, because over time people understood or understand now that Airbnb and Booking.com are intermediary, right?
So do you believe that rate parity is dead? So
It was dead
what?
long time ago. No, 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 no. I can guarantee you that it was dead long time ago. So the I think it was 10 years ago, Booking.com had a rate parity clause on their
Yes.
contract, right? But I think they lost a court with a big hotel chain. I think it wasn't Marriott, but it was Accor, like it was a French one. And they had to take out that clause of parity rate because it was taking advantage out of it, you know? So I think I can tell you with confidence 99% of the property managers that use our channel manager, they do not send prices on the portal the same as their website. I would say the average of price increase, they can do it with our channel manager, you know, it's about 10 to 15%.
Yes.
So
And I think that it's not possible to replace 100% your dependence from
no,
OTAs.
no,
But
no,
you
of
can
course
build
not.
a solid reservations strategy, booking strategy, you name it as you wish, and having a significant percentage of direct bookings. This can
Look,
increase your margins and your profitability at the end of the year.
we have an average like customer that use our website without doing digital marketing, and some of them do because we do digital marketing services as well, which is a bigger investment. But without doing any digital marketing, I would say that the average percentage of direct bookings our customer have when they have a website is in between 10 to 12%. Over all the booking in a year, they receive 10% of direct booking. The rest obviously is Booking, Airbnb, and then a bunch of other portals, right? But it's just simple math. If you take all of your reservation, I invite everyone here to check how much they made in reservation last year, and then they do a calculation. What if I take 10% of that reservation, okay, and then I eliminate 15% commission that I pay to the portal? You can see how much money you would have earned last year if you had a good strategy for direct bookings. Yeah.
Yes. And I think the property managers that work, for example, with digital nomads or receiving reservations for midterm stays, uh,
Yeah. It's a
for
very good
them it's
point.
crucial to have a direct booking system, and a big also percentage of their
Yeah,
reservation must be direct because they are losing money if you think about it.
it's a very good point because actually in these days, I think it's already in piloting in Avantio, but we are launching for our direct website as well, and a way to manage them inside of the system. We are launching what we call the mid-stay section, right? Where you can work hybrid, right? You can do short stay, but then if someone on your website search for a property for more than you can set up more than 25 nights, right? Then it shows automatically a price per month that you set up in our system, and it's everything automated as well, right? So they can book 3 months. The reservation comes in Avantio. In that reservation, you will have, you know, every month a monthly payment automation, which they can be paying with card, with bank transfer. So it's a very good point about the mid stay because it is becoming more popular in many
Yes.
places in Europe. Yeah.
Okay, let's move forward. This discussion was very interesting about direct bookings. I think it can be the topic of a whole webinar session. We can look into it for the future, Oreste. Now, let's imagine how the post-stay looks like. For example, a thank you message. I think it's very important to send one to your guest. In that message, you can also request for a review. Also, if the guest is booked your property through Airbnb, be aware that Airbnb has a policy not to ask a review outside their platform. This is something that many hosts also don't pay attention. So read each platform terms and conditions because it's important when you can ask for a review outside the platform or not. Stay
Mm.
connected with your guests. This is something that you can automate it also through
Yeah.
Tourmie. For example, we have a section where you can send bulk messages to your guests through SMS or through WhatsApp messages, where you can frequently send them reminders or promotions and offers. If someone is using Tourmie's online check-in form, for example, the guest can opt in or opt out for marketing purposes. And
Mhm.
of course, as you said, Oreste, you can send the offer, and this offer can include also the guest parents or the guest friends, not the guest
Yeah.
himself.
Yeah, I've got a customer in Italy that they have an automation message that goes to a guest, and it's an automation set 300 days after checkout. Okay, so it's not a full year, but it's 300 days after checkout, where the message essentially says like, "Hey, you remember us? You were in one of our properties last year." They put maybe a picture of the properties. It's like, we have a present for you. You can use this code, let's just say come back, if you book on our direct website. And if you don't want to come back to this place, like to Milan, for example, please give it to your friends. We are happy to welcome them as we welcomed you, you know? So it's actually a way to get more direct bookings as well.
And those things are not difficult anymore. It's
No.
actually very easy. The technology make this connection with your past guests very easy. And
Yeah,
this
exactly.
is what we have to keep from this, that you have to build relationships here, not have your guests as one-time client. You have to build a relationship with them. And the ones that invest their time in building relationships, they see high occupancy rates, they see high ADR rates, and also they see repeating guests.
Yeah, absolutely.
Uh,
Absolutely.
okay, so pretty much the future of hospitality isn't more work, is smarter, connected guest journeys. I think, Oreste,
Exactly.
you agree with that.
No, yeah, it's actually, I always say, even with AI and so on, there's people have they always, as human beings, we always are skeptical of technology, okay? Because it's new, it's a new thing, you know. I remember when I started working in this industry, I found a lot of property managers that were not using any technology to manage their business. Right now, I think I don't even I never speak with a property manager that hasn't already used or used like two or three different platform to manage their reservation. You know, like we just have to embrace technology and squeeze as much out of it, you know, because I think in Tourmie, maybe you have this experience as well as some people are contracting a technology, but they only using like 10% of it, you know, or maybe 15% of the full capacity. It makes me feel a little bit like when I used to work in the telephone industry before, right? So selling iPhones and so
Ah,
on.
also, I
Uh,
used to work for Vodafone. I didn't
I
know.
was I was for a local Spanish one called
Okay.
Movistar, but like maybe you had this experience as well, but sometimes you would have, I don't want to sound bad, right? But you would have like a 75-year-old man coming and tell me like, I want the latest iPhone. And I would just look at the guy. I was like, what are you going to use the iPhone for?
You
Like
don't
if you're
need it.
using it, exactly, if you're using it just to do phone calls, right? You are okay with a StarTAC Motorola, you know, like if I'm going to give you an iPhone, use it to the full capacity, you know? And that's what we
Uh,
try to say as well to our customers.
I think, Oreste, that, and this is how we are trying to build the Tourmie from day one. We are building features that, for example, a big property manager with hundreds of properties can use oral features. But also, we
Hmm.
can serve property managers that have one or five properties. But
Yeah.
not all the features are suitable for everyone. So that's why also, as you offering, we are also offering different plans for different needs, and that's the idea behind of technology. That you can cover some of your needs, you can cover all of your needs, but there is no software out there that can cover all your needs. That's why you have to be very careful when you are selecting your tech stack. That's why we are offering a significant also discounts for the ones that want to try and use Tourmie. So except the 1 month free trial, also we are offering 30% discount for the first 3 months. And I think that you are offering the same.
Yeah, so we're offering it's a 30% discount for the first 3 months, yeah, on the monthly, because as basically now everything works on a price per property nowadays. So
Yes.
like you guys and we are, so we wanted to have like the same offer for you guys. But obviously, I think the first thing for us, the most important part, if you contact us, is to organize a call, understand exactly what you need, and if we can help you. Sometimes I tell property managers, like, I'm not calling you to convince you to use Avantio. I
Of
want
course.
to understand if we can help you. And if we cannot help you, I'm the first one to say, like, hey, it was nice to meeting you, but maybe this is not a right fit, right?
And Oresta, I really like this approach because I started as a property manager in Heraklion, Crete. And
And I bet
tour,
everyone was calling you.
yeah, and Tourmie, I started Tourmie because I had the need to automate some processes inside my own company. So I thought that it would be a great idea to introduce the system I built for my needs to other property managers. And this is how also I approach them. Okay, don't see Tourmie, Avantio, and every other software is a tool. Every tool is not suitable for everyone. So you have to be very specific with your needs in order to select the proper tool.
Yeah.
And this is very important.
And as well, not just you need to understand what you're looking for, but again, you have to adapt as well, right? Because sometimes I tell people, like, a PMS, like a property management system, can do wonderful things, right? But it will never be like 100% what you're looking for, right? You maybe if you can reach like 80 to 90%, right? You should consider yourself lucky, and then you can just adapt 10% to that, and that's the same thing. Like, you built Tourmie because you couldn't find a tool that was already made like that, right? That was exactly for your needs. Then you are lucky because your needs were common needs for property managers. But it's the same. It's the same way how Avantio was born, right? Avantio was born because our CEO had families managing properties in Calpe, in the south of Spain, like here close to Valencia, and they were not using any technology to manage their reservations, right? So he saw an idea, and he had investment and so on, and then he created the first version of Avantio. They put it on a CD. You had to install it on a
Okay.
computer. So
Before cloud technologies.
yeah, it was 25 years ago. So yeah.
And this discussion brings us to the first part of our conversation today. We use technology in order to do for the host to do more than ever and offer a unique guest experience. We are adapting new technologies in order to do our everyday tasks easier and also to offer a better experience to our guests. That's the reason we are using technology. We are not using technology for technology. We are using technology in order to be more productive, to do
Yeah.
our job easier. And this is what we should keep.
Yeah,
Now,
exactly.
we have 10, 15 minutes left.
For
I
questions, yeah.
think that it's a good time to answer any questions if there are any. Oreste, before we answer any questions, do you want to share your screen for, let's say, 2 to 3 minutes in order to show
Sure.
your platform? and I'll do the
Sure.
same after that.
Yeah, of course, of course. So it's just a scroll around, like we say, right? Give me 1 second. I'm gonna bring the desktop over here and move this there. Yes. Share. I need to send a request. I sent a request to you,
Yes, now you're
Nicoletta.
okay.
Okay, let me see. Share the screen. Yes, allow. Yeah, so we do the desktop. And tell me if you can see my screen, yeah?
Yes, it's okay.
Perfect, perfect. So yeah, uh, as I said, Avantio is a full-on PMS and channel manager. So what you can do from our system is obviously manage every aspect of your vacation rental company, right? As I said at the beginning, from the simple calendar, right? So you have a calendar here that you can see all of your reservation, where they're coming from, in all of your properties. You can select one and see, like details of that reservation. You can ask for an online check-in because we work in countries where it's like, how do you say, obligatory to send data to the police and so on, right? So, and that's one part, right? So the managing of the reservation. But then we also have, if I open the full reservation here, it can be as well a business tool for you to understand how much money you're earning out of each reservation, right? Because you have here sales margin, where you can see how much was the reservation, what goes to the owner, what goes to the portal, and how much you're earning out of that single reservation. And then you can also, of course, expand, right, your, I would say, market reach, right? So we have one thing that we are very proud of, Stelios, is that we have our own channel manager, right? We don't use an external channel manager. The channel manager in Avant is built by us, and all of the connection we have, which is now, I think, more than 60 portals, right? So we have VRBO, Booking, Airbnb, and et cetera, et cetera. We have a lot of portals connected to Avantio. We built this connection directly, right? So there's no third-party channel manager, and they are all full connection. What does it mean? It means that if I want to activate a property on Booking or VRBO, right? I create them in Avantio, okay? And then the only thing I need to do is this. And then that property will be either synchronized or created on the portal. If you're starting now, you create a new property because you sign a new property with an owner, you create that in Avantio, and then with one click, you can create it automatically everywhere on all of your OTA and platform. And then after the channel manager, as I said, we also have websites, right? So we have a system that can allow you to manage your own website, create a website with us, okay? And that website, I can show you one of my example. This one, it's Horizon Enterprise. It's a fake website. Sometimes it looks so good that people actually books, and then we have to tell them like, no, it doesn't really exist in this property. But yeah, like I will show you. Like if I do a search, I can do a normal search, or I can do a flexible search as well, where I select like, a whole month, and I say I want to travel for 5 nights in August. Okay. So the booking system will show to the guests the available nights in that month for the available properties, and they can book 5 nights depending on what's available. So you see, it's the second step, as I said before, right? 3 steps. I have this one in Crete. They have 5 different dates available, like I can select one. I can choose to book, okay? And then as well, this is most important for me. Remember at the beginning, I said about 70% of people get to this stage, the booking stage, okay? And they don't book because they have to check flights, they have to check with the wife and everything, right? So that's the part we call it the checkout, right? Because at any moment they can close this page, right, where they only have to put their name, email, and maybe their credit card. If they choose Apple Pay, they pay directly without even putting the number, right? But a lot of people exit this page, right? But what did we do? What did we do in Avantio for our website? We created tools that helps you convert even when the guest has left, right? So you see how I went back to the homepage now, and it has here, finalize your booking over here. You see, if I click here, the system will skip all of the other steps and will bring me to the exact step that I was before to complete the reservation, thanks to the cookies of the website. And if I started to put the names as well, like if I put Donald Trump here, right, it's not gonna let me book, right? If I put Donald Trump, but Donald at Trump.com. If he puts all of this information and then he exits again, when he goes back, this will be saved. So we are removing steps from the reservation, right? And then obviously once they book, now I put a bank transfer because I'm not
And
going
you
to
have
give
many
my.
payment methods also. This is
Yeah,
also very
yeah, we
important.
have Klarna, we have Ideal, we have Apple Pay, Google Pay, credit card, and it's all automatic, Stelios. Let me put fakemail.com. It's all automatic. If a guest decides to, well, all apart bank transfer, right? But if they put like a credit card in Avantio, all of the charges that you see here, right? I charge 70% upon booking and the rest, I think a week before the check-in, right? If I put a credit card as a guest here, when the reservation gets in Avantio, all of those steps will be charged automatically, right?
Okay.
Yeah. And then obviously when they book, I go back to Avantio and voila, you should have a new reservation here, like in the notification. There should appear like a new booking, you see? And obviously the calendar gets closed. All of the OTAs are, how do you say? Oh no, was from early today. This is the Donald Trump reservation. All of the portals are closed. Everything is synchronized, and you don't need to worry about double bookings and so on. You see, and you have all of the information on the reservation here: how they want to pay, bank
Great.
transfer, and etc. Yeah, that's pretty much a 15, 20 seconds scroll around of Avantio. Yeah, obviously there is a lot of other features that we can discover together in a full demo. Yeah.
We'll share the presentation with all our attendees today. And of course, they can contact you directly if someone is interested in testing Avantio. We have 10 more minutes.
Yes, we also have, if you want to start to share your screen, we have a good question actually from the audience that say like, what is that one feature that the host underuse today, but it is the biggest impact on the guest satisfaction? I'm going to leave that to you because you're more like, from the guest side and guest experience.
I think that I can share my screen for 2-3 minutes, and then if there are also any other questions, I will answer them, all of them. Okay. Now, what I'm presenting is a demo guest guide. So the guest guide comes right after the booking from Avantio website is confirmed or from Airbnb. We can send a unique URL with the welcome message you have sending to your guest. And when the guest clicks on it, they will be redirected to a white labeled guest page. You can
Mhm.
add your logo because we have an integration with Avantio. We know the booking details, so the guest can see their booking details and their name, and you can customize the front page of the guest guide. For example, you can change the color of the buttons, you can change the fonts here, and the guest also will see a timer for their arrival. Also, what we have to mention here is that the guest guide is a web app, not a mobile app, so no need to download anything. Also, it's mobile friendly, so big buttons with the most, let's say, frequent questions your guest might have. For example, what is my Wi-Fi password? They can click on the Wi-Fi button and they can be redirected to the Wi-Fi password. But before that, the guests can fill in their online check-in form. So This is very important because at this step, you can collect all the guest data, not only for the main booker, but also for every additional guest. And this is very significant if you want to build your customer base and send also, as we said earlier, remarketing emails. So here your guest can collect, here you can collect your guest document type or identity document numbers. You can decide which fields will be required to be filled in or not. And then also you can add some, let's read
Greek.
here, yes. And also you can ask the travel purpose of the guest, the additional guest details, and also some custom questions. For example, if you are celebrating a special occasion, wedding anniversary, or a honeymoon, if you wish your guest to leave some comments, you can upload the terms and condition of the villa, for example. And this is also very important. But also the guest can purchase some additional services like an early check-in or a late checkout. They can send you requests and you can approve or disapprove them. And when they click check-in, they are redirected to a page where they can see some auxiliary services like a transfer or here we are, like a transfer or a car rental service. And they can book directly through Tourmie. And you can see the reservation directly on your dashboard. This is very important because you can add partners from our marketplace. You can add your existing partners, but also you can add third-party services through affiliate links. So you can create a card like this, and when I click view, for example, I'm redirected to the transfer service you are affiliated with. Also, what is important, multi-currency. If you are operating in countries that doesn't have euro, for example, if they have dollars, you can add different currencies. This is one of our newest features. And of course, you can add different languages. Except that you can add all your check-in instructions with photos, videos. This is very important because if your guests have a self check-in, you provide to your guests a self check-in procedure. It's important to have clear instructions, as we said earlier. And what's better from a video tour or photos? I'm not going to show more. I think that I showed most of them. What I'm going to say is that we have already adopted AI technologies. And what we are offering here is that our AI guest assistant, now it's already live on Tourmie. The guest can ask everything that is mentioned on the guest guide regarding the property and can receive instant answers in every language in the world, and is very important.
That's great, yeah.
And also, Oreste, what is very nice here is that also you can book a service. So you can ask the guest guide, can you book me a transfer service for tomorrow? And they will suggest you transfer services, and the AI guest assistant will ask you, do you want to book the service for you? And then they will proceed with the reservation. So if anyone is interested in learning more, you can visit tourmie.com and click on book a demo. And I or one of our team members will be with you and have a short demo.
No,
Okay,
it's
now
yeah, yeah. Sorry. Go on, go on. No,
oh,
I was reading the questions that we have the in the chat because some of them are very interesting, like, and I wanted to answer the first one, which was like
yes, let's
what's
go.
the what's the the one that you said, like I wanted to ask you, what's that that feature that hosts don't use or underuse to make the guest experience better. I would say maybe the chat, no, and the AI probably like to answer faster, right?
Yeah, I think AI also is a new technology.
That's why they underuse it, right? They are afraid. That's what I'm saying.
They are afraid and they don't. Okay, of course they can. You are afraid the new technology. You are not obliged to, let's say, add everything and wish everything will go smooth. But in any case, I think that most of the answers in the future, most of the answers every guest will get will be AI generated because AI can answer instantly. They can answer in a friendly way, and they can answer 24/7. So if you are a small property manager and want to scale your business with not adding labor force, AI technologies, for example, will be very useful for them. But also for larger property managers, answering bulk, frequently asked questions your guests may have. For example, how the question here, how the TV works. It's a common question. This
Yeah.
AI generated answer was sent instantly to the guest.
Yeah. And there's another question about if they can add service like pool use or gym use in the extra cost in Tourmie. I'm thinking yes, right? They can create custom extra, right?
But I think that the more underused feature is services. Most
Yeah.
of the property managers they don't want to upsell services. They are thinking that okay, I don't want to bother my guest. I don't want them to send some messages selling things to them, and they cannot understand that they are leaving money on the table. That's why
Mm.
Airbnb launched the Airbnb experiences. That's why Booking.com offers free taxi transfers from the airport because then you can book, for example, a car rental or an experience through Booking. If you try and sell a service to your guest automatically, not manually. You can automate some service suggestions to your guests. Then you can see significant earnings at the end of the year. But most of the hosts, they are uh, they are thinking that selling services is something that I'm adding an extra workload on my daily tasks, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah. No, no, no. It's true. It's true. There is another question which is very important. And before we go to that question, I agree with you. If you have any upsells, okay, any upsells, do it. Like if you have a possibility,
Yes.
do it. Only 30% of the budget of the guest it's spent on the stay. 70% is spent on the holiday, right? So if you can, a holiday means a restaurant, like you say, a pool use or a car rental. So if you can just take a little bit of that cake, you will be earning more money, and not just by
Yes.
by reservation, right? There's another question. I think we can answer this one, and then we maybe there's another one. This is more
Yes.
direct to Avantio. It says, how does the
Go
integration between
ahead.
Avantio and Termi automates the real-time transmission of booking data to my data? Specifically, can the system distinguish between standard receipt and full VAT invoice, etc., etc.? And also, he said, based on the guest data collected during the Termi digital check-in. Okay, John. So let me explain. Um, when a reservation comes in Avantio, Termi takes the data of that reservation, including the guest data, right? And they put in action, like, the online check-in and everything. And then, correct me if I'm wrong, Stelios, you guys collect the data of the guest and then you push back into Avantio. There is a set
Yes.
exactly. So once they done this check-in, John, we call it the guests page, right? It's filled up, and now you can issue an invoice, an electronic invoice or an electronic receipt from Avantio, okay, that will go directly to my data, okay, and that's for my data. Then for my AD, which is the other monthly communication that you have to do in Greece, right? I think Tourmie has like a built-in connection to Maya there, and they
Yes.
also do the same sending to them. Okay, hope it was cleared out like that.
We have a bi-directional communication with
I
Avantio,
know.
which is very important because we don't have the same integration with every PMS out there. Only just a handful of PMS supports a bi-directional communication. So we can pull, but also we can push data back to Avantio. And this is very
Exactly,
important for
exactly.
our users. And we have
And
already tested this integration. It's important that you trust a system that
we have
is
people
tested with
using
you.
it. We have
Yes.
people using it, yeah. And then there
Um,
is a last question from John as well. He
yes.
said, does Termi include a report an issue or incident management features within the guest app? If a guest uses Termi to complain about a broken appliance and cleanliness issue, does that automatically create a maintenance task ticket within Avantio back office? Yeah, that one doesn't happen yet, John. Like for now, the bi-directional connection we have is regarding reservations and guests, right?
Yes, sir.
But you can still create tasks. If you want to use Avantio task management or operation task, you can create a manual task and assign it to a property and give it to the your maintenance people, right? And they can have an app so that they can see all of the maintenance that they have to do. Okay.
The solution we are offering is not as much sophisticated as Avantio's solution regarding maintenance, but we are offering a simple guest request function feature, let's say. So the guest can send you a request, for example, for a broken appliance or cleaning issues. And then you can assign this request to different team members. But at this stage, we are not pushing the guest request data back to Avantio. This is something that we can discuss with Oreste if there is a need for this. This is something that we can extend our integration for the next phase.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so
Okay.
we can we can call it a day. It was very nice. It was a full hour, Stelios, and
I really enjoyed the discussion with you, Oreste. Every time
thanks.
it's a pleasure.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
will for the one that couldn't
Coming from
couldn't
the
be
beginning. Yeah, yeah.
join us today, we'll send the recording and the presentation. My colleague Nicoleta just sent also a link here regarding Tourmie and Avantio integration, how this integration works. So
Yeah.
I think that we can repeat this webinar in the upcoming months.
Yeah, why not? Why not? We also will try to publish it online so that people can have it. Like, if you guys put it on YouTube, that would be great. We can share it,
Yes,
and there's nothing to hide anyway. Like,
of
so.
course.
But thank you very much. Thank you for having me. I want to thank Nicoletta as well from the background, your colleague, that she's been, checking and chatting and sending, links into the chat. And I want to thank everyone for joining us today. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Oreste, for your time. Please don't forget to rate our webinar. Your feedback is much appreciated. We'll send you also the feedback form later. Thanks a lot, everyone, for having us. Ευχαριστούμε πολύ. Καληνύχτα, εύχομαι. Καλό απόγευμα σε όλους. Γεια σου,
Yeah,
Oreste. Bye.
ευχαριστώ. Γεια σου, γεια σου. Bye, guys.